Hello, hello, Taurus. Welcome to your April 2019 overview reading. This is good for you if you're a sun, moon, or rising Taurus. And while I pull these oracle cards, just tune in. If there's some specific information that you're wanting this month, go ahead and set your intention for that now. Just make a request for it to show up however it needs to. Deep breath into the diaphragm, and I'm going to lay these cards out and then we will get started. Okay, so I'm going to pick a mindfulness card first. These ones are kind of long, and I'm getting insight and awareness for you. So let's go ahead and see. This one wants to come up. Learn from distractions. One of the benefits of meditation is cultivating a mind that is relatively free from distraction. The best and most reliable way to reduce our distractions is to understand them. Next time you're engaged in a task that requires you to focus and you realize that your mind has wandered away, notice what it was that pulled your attention. There are likely to be some regular patterns that emerge, and when you know what they are, you're better equipped to guard yourself against them. So this is really about bringing your awareness to your focus and, in turn, your energetic flow. So remember that wherever you're paying attention, whatever your mind is fixated on, that's where your energy is going in that moment. So pay attention to what it is that really grabs that initial, like what's a magnet for your energy this month. Notice that. The animal card for you is raccoon. I'm getting that there's some like composting happening. So maybe you want to go back to the drawing board, go back, revisit some old ideas, and see if you can salvage anything or if you can kind of get scrappy with your resources, because it's kind of like, you know how raccoons like to dig around in the trash, and they're scavengers. And so you can think about how you can do that in your own life. Like, rather than just trying to pursue something new, go back and see if there's anything you may have left along the way that would be of use to you now. And then we have magic. Invite spirit's intervention. Pay attention to synchronicity. Invoke your will and your willingness. Okay. Couple things on this. The best way to manifest is to take action. That's the first thing that's coming up. So that's the invoke your will. And then pay attention to synchronicity, like pay attention to where you're experiencing a lot of resistance. Is that nudging you to kind of problem solve and pick another option? Or is it just a challenge presenting itself for you to come up with a creative solution and find your way through? Or do you need to shift directions? So notice anything like that that comes up this month. And the central energy is the Three of Swords. Let me clarify this with the crossing energy and see what that's about. And we have the Star. The way out is through. That's the whole thing here. The Three of Swords represents release, and the Star represents that divine intervention, that synchronicity, that magic, if you will. And that things that are not going your way are actually for your benefit. That's what the Star reminds us to focus on, is that when we experience those dips or those frustrations, or when things leave our life in any capacity or simply don't work out, it's as if you're being divinely spared. And the more you can try to shift your perspective to that more often, the easier things are going to get. Is it easy? Absolutely not. That is not what I'm saying at all. It is a practice, just like with most of the other stuff I'm talking about with you guys. All of this is a practice. And so it's kind of the human condition to resist that Three of Swords, but keep in mind that it's serving you. It is in service of you. Okay, and then shifting out, we have the Seven of Cups. I think there were a lot of options that were kind of sitting around you, and so you probably had to cut away a few. Like some probably were not working out, and then others are probably what you want to move forward with. So I think this was more of like an exploratory period, and then it looks like you're moving into decision making. That could also be part of the Three of Swords as well. Like remember that just because you have an idea of something doesn't mean you have to take action on it, or just because you can do something or it's an option doesn't mean you have to. So that could also have something to do with this release and alignment, which is what the Three of Swords and the Star represent. And then the oncoming energy for you is Judgment. So final decisions. You're going from having all these options and it kind of sitting out and feeling really nebulous and like it hasn't taken shape yet. And then it looks like your decision and your conviction is really what takes you to the next level. It's like decide on something, commit to it, and then use your fixed energy in order to pursue that more. Outward manifestation, Nine of Cups. So this is wishes fulfilled, dreams coming true. This is a really awesome card to have sitting up here. So don't forget, you can ask for more if you need to. It's a good month to do that because you have this sitting up here. And then the subconscious, we have the Six of Cups. Okay, so this is a great soulmate card, a lot of heart connections with people this month. I'm just getting the connection that this is like this represents innocence as well. So that childlike pleasure and enjoyment and just having fun, and all of that stuff is starting to bubble to the surface because we want to stay in touch with that as often as we possibly can, whenever possible. Okay, and to clarify the Six of Cups, I have the Three of Cups. Yeah, so it's all friendship-based, community-based. It's like you're having fun with the people around you, and perhaps you're really craving that connection too. Like maybe that's something that you may be starved of a little bit. And so it really is about finding this whenever you can, even if you don't have gobs and gobs of close friends. It's just about finding little ways to connect whenever possible. And your job is to kind of bridge the gap here in between, like remembering that there is a lot of payoff here, but also honoring whatever it is that you need internally. Okay, and then the advice for you is the Nine of Swords. Watch your fear pictures. Like that's the thing that might hold you back or cause a little bit of trouble, is if you only operate out of fear-based mindsets. Because that's gonna make you fixate on only the negative things. You're not gonna be able to see any silver lining. You're not gonna be able to see things that are working out for you if you're only fixating on fear. It simply is gonna drown out everything else. So make sure you're watching yourself with this, especially if you're consumed by a lot of media as well. Every time I see this card, I can't help but think of the news. Like, the news is the Nine of Swords in a nutshell. So it's totally fear-based. Watch yourself with that and see if there's any way for you to flip that. Similar to what you have going on here. Flip it whenever you can. Now, the external influences, I have the Ten of Cups. See, this is why it's so important for you to kind of count your blessings, like practice gratitude whenever humanly possible this month. Try to see the light whenever you can, because you have to search for it. It's not going to just plop in your lap. You have to look for it. And so just take responsibility for that piece, because it's going to help shake that fear off. Like if you knew you couldn't lose, like at the end of all of this, at the end of your life, you're not going to lose. So what can you do knowing that? Like there's no failure in life. Only perceived failure. So it's about how you're working with that. But know that with this sitting in the external influences, it's like luck is really on your side this month. So I think you could even take big risks and actually have a really solid outcome as a result. Hopes and fears, Knight of Cups. Perhaps this is your own emotional state. Like maybe it's that you want, I'm getting the connection piece again. And this can also show up as fear. Maybe you're fearing connection, maybe you're fearing intimacy, maybe you're fearing people seeing you fully. And because when you're seen fully, it's the biggest type of vulnerability that you can have, because if you reveal yourself fully and you get rejected, right, by anyone, that's what can cause the most harm. And so I understand like why this would pop up in the fear position, but there's also like that craving, that longing, that extending your cup first that's happening. So connection is really big. Look at all these cups you have that are that are hanging out all over the place. So it's a very sensitive emotional month. And it's just about what it is that you're doing with that energy and how you're making it work for you. And then the outcome of April, Four of Swords. Let me clarify this because you guys know this is the rest card. Trying to take a break if you can. The Moon. So there's a little bit of this. Part of it is going to be that you're not going to have everything mapped out entirely, and you're not going to be able to see the star immediately. So that's the deal with the Judgment card. This is why this is in the oncoming position, because it's like you have to make the decision. You have to make the choice. You have to figure out what do you want, what do you need, where are you going, and how do you get there. And then you have to commit to it to make it happen. Invoke your will. And so the Moon is just about not having that certainty, but I see this more as like blindness, like it's cloaked. The benefits are cloaked. They're not revealed quite yet. So you're going to need to give them some time and just pace yourself. It's okay to slow down a little bit if you need to and take breaks. That's completely acceptable if you need to. Okay, let's get into the timeline. First, second, third, and fourth quarter of April. So this is where you start off the month. We have the Knight of Wands. So starting off with a bang, I'm getting that probably at the beginning of April, you know, you're in the midst of the Aries season. And so it is going to feel a bit more fiery. It is going to feel a bit more intense. And I think that you can capitalize on this energy to make happen whatever it is you're looking to manifest, wherever you want to put your time and your effort. If you need to go back to the drawing board, it looks like you have energy to do that as well. So it's kind of like, what do you want to do with this? If you have lots and lots of energy, what are you going to do with it? So this is like where you want to make that decision. And then the second quarter, we have the Knight of Coins. This is where you start to dig into more of that earth energy of, okay, I've used the passion, I've capitalized on this fire season, and now I'm going to buckle down and start getting to work. So I'm getting that you are starting to apply yourself in the second quarter. Let's see what's going on in the third quarter. We have the Hermit. Introspection, you might need to revise a little bit along the way. So the Hermit is like, you want to sit in contemplation in order to figure out and check in, is this the right next move for you? Is this does it feel good? Does the process feel good? Because if you're not enjoying the process, then man, you're in for a long road. So it's more about figuring out what is enjoyable for you as much as possible, what feels good, and what is going to push you in the direction where your vision actually becomes a reality. So you want to keep all of that in mind. And remember that maybe you're thinking about a vision for a future right now that you think is best for you, but just check and make sure if it's in alignment with your values and the feelings that you want to have consistently. That's another part of this. Okay, and then fourth quarter, so wrapping up the month of April. King of Cups. So that emotional, any type of sensitivity that comes up, it looks like it actually matures or resolves by the end of the month. Like it stabilizes itself. Because again, the Three of Swords in the central position, there is a lot of release going on and confronting fears and being able to navigate that and make decisions that are continuing to be in alignment with you without expectation of the outcome, because that's where you get into trouble. You want to leave a little bit of room for flexibility on that. But the King of Cups is about owning your emotions around it and just honoring whatever it is that needs to come up with that. Okay, so now we're going to do a 3-card pick. This is an oracle deck, just in case you're wondering. So you can ask a question, you can set an intention, ask for advice, whatever you need. Go ahead and pick a card, as few or as many as you'd like. Card number 1, the one who needs to control. So watch yourself for trying too hard. That's gonna backfire, because it's the harder you try, if you do it too much, it can actually create more resistance. So you want to find a flow state in whatever it is you're looking to create, not to just overpower it or work yourself to the point where you just get it done or make it happen. You want to find a way where your body agrees with the pace and the flow and the way that things are going, while continuing to challenge yourself without burning yourself out. So it's that blend. But if you find that you're experiencing a lot of resistance, the best thing to do is take your foot off the gas pedal and head into hermit mode, because that's going to help you check in with yourself and help you realign. That way you're not tunnel vision on this one facet of your life. Card number 2, we have, is this scry mirror? I don't know if that's the right word, but I'm actually getting that this is a big self-reflection. Watch yourself for projection with this. I'm really getting a lot of projection energy, and you want to watch that, because if you're constantly projecting onto situations, it's going to cause either you to not be able to navigate clearly and effectively through whatever situations you have going on, or it's going to cause you to personalize a lot of things. And neither of those really are effective ways of approaching any type of manifestation, any type of relationship, any type of action that you're taking to get something that you want. So the projection aspect of this is really important. Okay, and then card number 3, we have under a spell. So watch yourself for over idealizing situations right now, or being over the moon. Watch yourself with your first impressions. Like, give things a chance to grow and develop and see where they're at, rather than just becoming fixated immediately without exploring other options. I think you want to kind of continue shopping, continue looking around. There might be a little bit that you're blind to, so just check yourself on that. If you have a really strong emotional reaction, proceed slowly, move slowly through it, so that you're not blind to red flags or hiccups or other better opportunities that may arise. All right, my friends, that is all that I have for you today. I certainly hope you've enjoyed this reading as much as I've enjoyed reading for you. And don't forget, if you would like to work with me one-on-one, you're welcome to check out all of the links in the description box. If you want to get the love readings on Patreon, the link is in the description box as well. And until next time, I wish you nothing but the best. Good luck with everything, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.